So we're going to talk about truth number 2 now about hunting pressure deer. A lot of people say it's all about food, and certainly food's important. But Pressure Deer Pro, we really work on developing the property with diverse habitat in mind. You got to have diverse habitat, because what will happen is a lot of your deer will leave if you don't have the diverse habitat. So we're looking for habitat that is clear cuts. A lot of people do those. Very, very small hinge cut areas, because I'm not a big proponent of hinge cuts, except for buck areas, very targeted to give you the diversity. Switchgrass, giant miscanthus silvergrass, pines for thermal bedding. You know, you got to have all those things. Otherwise, what happens is when the leaf drop happens, the deer leave your property if you don't have diverse habitats. I also, at Pressure Deer Pro, we really don't like to have large bedding areas, more in a 2 to 4 acre size, like this one here. This is a 3 acre hardwood clear cut that was done 3 years ago. And the cover in here is unbelievable, including the browse. But one of the most important things we do differently than most of the consultants out there is we don't do any property development until, as we zoom in on some of the browse that you get from this clear cut, until we've identified our ambush locations. The ambush, when you're hunting pressure deer, the ambush location is absolutely the key. If you can't blow properly and allow the deer to feel secure, you will not harvest that mature buck you're after. So when you think about developing your property, there's way more that goes into it first. You just can't have somebody show up at your property for the first time and say, okay, let's clear cut this woods because it needs it. Put a food plot here because it's a good spot. If you can't ambush a deer at that food plot location, why put it there? It's not doing you any good. Unless you have a strategic plan to ambush the deer coming to that food plot. So there's lots of things like that we do at Pressure Deer Pro. So food is important, but the most important truth in my mind, in our mind at Pressure Deer Pro, is that you have diverse bedding so the deer stay on your property all times of the year. That's absolutely paramount to harvest mature bucks. One last thing is you look around and see how thick this cover is. This is what it was like. If you look way up there into that hardwood, tall hardwood forest, that's what this was. This is not at all square. It's very, very elongated and irregular shaped. And it allows us to ambush deer coming through this in multiple locations. So that's it on truth number 2. It's Greg. Hope you enjoyed this.